Hey, folks, it is Josh here for yet another, and perhaps the last, business vlog and check-in for 2023. It is Sunday, December the 24th. Thank you very much for tuning in. As you know, most weeks I record a vlog just talking about my previous week in business journey, what it's like being a tech co-founder at our startup Visto.ai, books I'm reading, lessons I'm learning, all that fun jazz, and hopefully you've enjoyed following along on the journey so far. But it's a special weekend because it's Christmas weekend, right? The long weekend, and next weekend is New Year's weekend, which I'll probably be a little bit lazier on. So I think what we're going to do is make this the last vlog of the year. It's the second last weekend of the year. And we're going to do a year in review, right? So kind of summarize the entire year, talk about the ups, the downs, the pros, the cons, the books, the best books, stuff like that. And I'll probably take next weekend off, and then we'll start over in 2024. I'm definitely going to continue, right? I've really enjoyed doing these weekly vlogs. Hopefully you've enjoyed either watching them on YouTube or listening to them on your favorite podcast. Thank you very much for following along. If you've been getting to these through my weekly Substack, I appreciate the support as well. And hopefully you've been enjoying my weekly Substack. If you're not on the Substack, make sure to check the link in the description because you can sign up there as well. So a big thank you, a big happy holidays, right? Happy holidays to all of you, whatever the heck you're celebrating, especially these days, right? It's a crazy world, a lot going on, a lot of division, all that kind of stuff. I'm not going to go down that rabbit hole. But I just hope that everybody has a happy, safe, healthy holiday season, a good new year, all that jazz, and to many more as well. So let's jump in. I figured what I'd do is kind of three things. Number one, do a quick year in review, look back on 2023, how far we've come, discuss the goods, the bads, number one. And then number two, talk about what's ahead for 2024. And then number three, I'll kind of summarize, just because in most of these episodes, I also share what I'm reading. So maybe I'll try to quickly think about the best book I read of the last year. Crap, I didn't do this. I didn't prepare ahead of time. So I'm going to have to try and think this through while I'm talking. But anyways, we'll try to do that. And then that'll probably be it. Again, keep this till 10, 15 minutes as I normally do. So let's jump in. 2023 was kind of a ride for me. As most of you know, I spend my time building an immigration tech startup in Canada called Visto. We sell software to largely Canadian immigration firms. But what a lot of people don't realize is that the company's actually been around for a while. And at the beginning of 2023, we were stepping up to our last at bat. What do I mean by that? I mean that we've had to pivot multiple times. We've learned a lot. We've built new products. We've pivoted. We tried B2C. We pivoted B2B, blah, 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 right? As most startups do. If you've never co-founded a tech startup before, one thing you should probably expect is that you're probably going to pivot at least once, right? The product you launch your company with is usually not the product that you finish with, right? Or at least not the same iteration, so to speak. We had to pivot multiple times over the last 3.5 years. And when we launched our current iteration of Visto last year, it was around last January, it was our last at bat. It was like we did our final pivot. We were like, listen, this is our last chance. We have to make this product work. Otherwise, we're going to run out of money and we got to go back and, find a job or whatever. Now, praise the Lord, or whoever you believe in, if there is one up there. It worked, right? And maybe part of it was due to that extra pressure and desperation, or maybe we did good research, or maybe we had learned a lot over the last 3-4 years and we, kind of applied that to our last at bat, or maybe a combination of all the above, which is probably the answer, and definitely some luck. It worked, and we were able to hit some really big milestones this year. We kind of really found our product market fit for the first time ever, right? I've been running Visto basically for the last 4 years, never really hit that product market fit, as they call it in the tech world, right? Tech is so different, right? When you open a service business, you can get your first client tomorrow and your second client the next day and kind of have that product market fit, right? In tech, because you have to learn and build and take time to build technology and see if people like it and make sure they don't churn, it can take months or years to get the product market fit. For us, it took years and years. and multiple iterations. But we finally kind of hit product market fit, signed up dozens and dozens and dozens of immigration firms that are using Visto, happy with Visto, raised a little bit more money. And we recently hired, right, as I mentioned in previous episodes, hired another engineer, hired another person in sales, and now we're starting to scale the company. And it's freaking awesome because number one, growing is good. And number two, we made it, right? There was a legitimate concern for the first, maybe not half, but probably the first quarter of 2023, that if this product didn't work, company was going down, right? We wouldn't be here right now. Well, I would be here. I just wouldn't be talking about Visto, right? So that was probably the main goal for me heading into 2023 was to make that product work. And we did, right? Again, not because it was all intelligence and effort. It took a lot of effort, but it also took some luck and some hard work and, a whole bunch of that stuff, right? There's all these factors, right? It's never one thing that makes something work in business, right? So praise the Lord if he's up there or she. And the big goal from 2023 was launching our Visto platform, getting it off the ground, getting product market fit, and now starting to scale, which is really, really exciting. That's number one. Number two is I really feel like this past year, I really wanted to prioritize social media and building my presence online because number one, I think it's the smart thing to do. Number two, I think any entrepreneur should be doing it. Number three, I think it's like the best opportunity right now for entrepreneurs and founders and co-founders to grow their company, right? Ironically, like building your personal brand might be one of the best, lowest hanging fruit, lowest monetary investment ways to market yourself and by extension, market your company, right? Because at this point, pretty much like I am Visto and Visto is me, right? Like when I post on LinkedIn, I don't even post on the Visto LinkedIn account. I just post on my personal account and I'm obviously promoting Visto in almost every post, but kind of like, yeah, personal branding has almost become one and the same in business branding, right? And so anyways, why am I saying this? Because everybody wants to post more content and build their brand online, but not that many people actually do it. And I was the same way for a long time. And what I finally learned, and one of my key takeaways for the year is social media. Obviously, there's important strategies and tactics, but nothing is more important than just posting consistently. Posting content at quality, what time you post at, whether you include an image or not. It's all mostly BS. Not BS, but none of it even scratches the surface of how important it is to just post consistently. Start posting 5 times a week, period. Stop reading all the books. Stop, watching all the TikTok guides. Stop buying online courses on how to grow your social media following. Step number one, start posting 5 times a week, period, end of story. Come back to me in 6 months and we can start talking about more than that. Unless you start doing that, the rest is a total waste of time, in my opinion, right? This is all obviously my opinion. But what I've noticed is when I stopped worrying too much about the details and just started posting consistently, everything changed. And ironically, instead of worrying about posting better quality, just worry about posting more often. And then an interesting thing happens, which is the quality of your posts increases because you're posting more often, so you're getting better at it, right? So don't worry at the beginning about posting higher quality content. Just start posting content and the quality of it will increase over time. But going back to my earlier analogy of it was our last at bat at Visto, social media is kind of the same way in the sense that think of every post as an at bat. Oh, of course the cat starts meowing now. We got a new foster cat this week who is extremely cute, may I add. But of course she chooses the one time I sit down to record to start meowing. Anyways, you might hear her in the background. I apologize for that. So what am I saying? I made it a top priority for this year to post on LinkedIn 5 times a week consistently, start this vlog, cut these videos into snippets, post them as YouTube shorts, post them as TikTok reels, repurpose my LinkedIn post to Twitter. And I really stuck to it. I prioritized and I stuck to it. and it's really paid off over time. It does not pay off overnight, right? Social media is not an overnight type game. It's a long run game. So anyways, and so going back to what I was saying before I got sidetracked by the cute cat, is that every post is a new at bat. It's a new chance to get a new follower, to get a new, new comment, to go viral or not, right? But just to gain some slow momentum over time. So anyways, if you have any questions about that, by all means, right, let me know, comment on the YouTube video. We can go, in more detail, or I'll probably touch on it a little bit more on my Substack. But anyways, 2 big goals that we hit in 2023. Number 1, found product market fit with Visto, and we're off to the races, I think. And I think it's going to be a huge 2024, which I'll talk about in just a second. Number 2 is really prioritized personal branding and social media, and definitely saw some big results. Crossed the 15,000 follower mark on LinkedIn, crossed like the 56 or 57,000 follower account on TikTok, and it's just been great. So anyways, geez, time flies. We're already at 11 minutes. I'm going to try and hurry up here. In terms of 2024, what we're looking to do on the Visto side is just scale, right? So we want to scale to certain sales numbers, right? We're at X, we want to get to Y number of customers type thing. So we're really taking some time. I talked about this in the last episode, if you've listened to last week's episode, on how because it's so quiet at the end of December due to the holidays, we took some time to step back, reevaluate our sales strategies, our content, our copy, our follow-up sequences, and just building in a really good sales and customer success process so that we have that in place for 2024, and we can just focus on marketing and sales and scaling and all that fun stuff. Going to continue a lot of the same on the social media side. So continue with the consistency, but now that I have the consistent schedule in place, going to start focusing a little bit more on tightening up the quality of the content, right? So now I'm in a good schedule, I'm in a good habit. Now I'm going to look at improving the content a little bit more, having better calls to action, maybe start working in some more hashtags, right? More of that strategy so that we can get a little bit more reach and that kind of stuff. And I'll be talking about all those things, right, throughout 2024, right? As I start testing things, implementing things, sharing what's working, what's not working, all that kind of stuff. So anyways, that's kind of the big goals for 2024, right? Continue to scale. We're going to have to build more systems as we scale, right? I'm working on implementing some good customer success systems and resources now. And we're working on some very cool AI. So if you're interested in AI, especially in AI in immigration and how those two overlap, pay close attention to me and especially my LinkedIn profile in 2024. It's going to be a big year. We should have our first actual big AI launch in January, I'm hoping. Probably February the latest. So I'm very excited for that. So anyways, that's a bit of a review of 2023 and looking ahead to 2024. I'm trying to think about what was the best book that I might have to save this for my Substack because I can't think of it off the top of my head. Because as most of you know, I read on average, usually like a couple books a month, anywhere from 1 to 4 books a month, depending on how busy I am and depending on how long the books are. I'm trying to turn, if you're watching this on YouTube, I'm trying to turn around and look at my bookshelf so that I can, reflect on what I've read this year and comment on what was really good. As many of you know, I do a lot of rereads. So, the best read this year might have even been a reread of a book of mine. But just taking a quick look at my shelf, I read Rework, Rework, by Jason Fried and David Heinemeier. Probably mispronounced that. That was a really good, choppy read on just how to rethink running a business. Highly recommend that. I'm trying to look at what's sticking out right now. I don't know. I'm gonna have to post this on my Substack. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna think on this for a few hours. I might even go back through my Substack because every week when I send my update on my Substack, it includes a little blurb on what I'm reading. So I might go back and review all my Substack emails from 2023, and then I'll compile a list of books and maybe I'll pick my favorite one. Oh God. Oh God. This is why you got to be watching on YouTube, because if you're listening on the podcast, the cat just jumped on top of my bookshelf. Oh my God. She's just really cute, but she loves jumping around. Jesus, I'm going to have to get her down. Okay. This is a great time to end the episode because I got to go get her down. And if you're listening on the podcast, definitely check out my YouTube channel because you can see what the heck she's doing right now. I'm trying to point. That's so hard. There we go. Anyways, everybody, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a lot of fun getting these weekly vlogs out or podcasts out. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for following along. I hope you have a great holiday season. If you're watching on YouTube, if you can, subscribe, like the video, all that stuff, it really helps. If you're listening on a podcast, if you're subscribed, if you can leave a review, that really helps as well. I will probably take next week off, as I mentioned, but I'll be back in action in January with an episode every single week, just like this. So if you want to continue following along on my journey, hopefully you find them entertaining, maybe a little bit helpful, maybe, insightful. And if you have any thoughts, comments, by all means, right? I love to get feedback. Feel free to comment on the YouTube video, or in the description, you'll find a link to my Substack. Highly recommend jumping on my Substack list. I send that every Monday morning. It includes a little bit more details, my best content for the week. And on Monday, I will be sharing my favorite read for 2023. So anyways, I'm going to go get my cat down from the top of the bookshelf. Have a great holiday season. Happy New Year, all that good jazz. Thanks again for tuning in. And I will see you in 2024. Take care, everyone.